Hi, I'm Frankie, and in this video, I'm going to show you step by step how you can create your very first personal portfolio website. Let's dive right in. So why a portfolio website? Well, a portfolio website gives you full ownership of your piece of the internet. This is different from social media accounts where the way you display who you are and the way you demonstrate your skills is dictated by the way the social media platform is set up. With your own website, you have full ownership to control the way you display who you are and what you know. This creates massive differentiation for you because most people don't have a website or any way to showcase their skills. This website becomes the home for your portfolio to showcase what you know and the skills you're currently acquiring. This wows employers and anyone that you might work with in the future. Having a website makes you more professional. It's like a business card, but on the internet and with more information that you can share on it. And your personal website demonstrates some level of technical skills that you have simply by existing. When it comes to building your personal portfolio website, there's two paths that you can take. You can create a custom build where you might use a web framework or native JavaScript to build and code the whole website yourself. Or you might use a website builder where there's less code involved and more click and drag functionality. If you choose to do a custom build for your website, there's three very popular website frameworks that you can use: React.js, also known as React, Angular, and Vue.js. For the portfolio we build in this video, we'll be using React. Choosing a website builder will require you to think through if you want more control, customization, or more ease of use, low code, no code, and click and drag functionality. Some example website builders that fall within this spectrum are WordPress, Squarespace, and Wix. There's a lot of other website builders out there, but these are three that are reliable and commonly used. To follow along our demo, you'll need the following things: Visual Studio Code or some other text editor, an Azure account, which will host your Azure Static Web App and portfolio projects, a GitHub account to house the repo for your website and your projects, Node.js and Git installed wherever you're coding with Visual Studio Code, whether that's in the cloud or locally. Now let's get started building. This GitHub repository is a template for a custom build website using the React Web Framework. We'll use this template to create a demo portfolio website for a fictional person named Mason Stark. We'll copy the repository URL, and in VS Code, we'll clone the GitHub repo. We'll enter into the repository, and we have an existing Git history from the templated repository on GitHub. We want to remove the old Git history to create a new Git history so that we can have a fresh repository for our website. To do this, I'll run a remove item command in the Windows PowerShell. This command is slightly different on Mac using the rm command. Then I'll create a new Git repository locally. Now to get this up and running, let's install the local packages. We'll run npm install, and when that's done, we'll start running the website template locally. While we're waiting, I wanted to tell you about something happening with Azure Innovation Station. I'm launching a program to help a handful of technology professionals earn six-figure Azure jobs in 90 days or less. If you're an existing technology professional interested in Azure and interested in making six figures, check the link below to see if you qualify. Now let's get back to our demo. The libraries were installed. Now let's run npm start. This is what our website looks like running locally. And now that we see that it's working, let's commit it to our own GitHub repository. Now let's create a new GitHub repository. I'll make myself the owner, and I'll call it Demo Mason Stark Website. You could choose to make this private if you don't want people to see how your website is built. Or you could leave it public if you want to showcase your skills with your portfolio website. I'll leave this as public and create this repository. Next, I'll copy the URL for the repository, and in VS Code, I'll connect my local GitHub repository to my GitHub repo in the cloud. Then I'll commit the changes locally. And push the changes to the cloud. Now, if we update the GitHub repository, we should see the code in there, and we do. Next, let's make changes to the templated website with Mason Stark's information. I now have the local website running with the changes I made with Mason Stark's information. You can see now I have Mason Stark at the top. It says, "Welcome to my portfolio." The navigation shows About with a picture of Mason Stark, and then I have Project 1, Project 2, and Project 3. These will go to portfolio projects that will fill in later videos. To make these changes, I created a Project 1, Project 2, and Project 3 file based on my About page and made some small tweaks and adjustments. I added styling for each of those projects, which is also based on the styling that the About page has. Commented the contact page because we'll update that in a future video. In the app.js page, I added the projects. In the About page, I added the new image. In the data.json file, I added information for the projects, and I updated the header title, the header paragraph, and the About Me paragraph. In the header.js section, which is what this Learn More button takes you to, I updated the hyperlink to go to the About page. And in the navigation component, I removed navigation for components that no longer exist or that we're not using, and added in navigation for the 3 projects we'll have. Now let's push these changes to the GitHub repository. Something I forgot to mention is that I removed this .github folder from the templated repo before I made changes and committed to my repository. You'll want to remove this .github folder before you deploy to Azure Static Web Apps so that there's no conflicts related to your GitHub actions and your workflows to automatically deploy to Azure Static Web Apps. With all the basic changes made to our Mason Stark portfolio website, let's deploy an Azure Static Web App using this code. I'll go to the Azure Marketplace in the Azure portal, and I'll search Static Web App. Let's create a static web app. I'll create a new resource group, calling it Demo Mason Stark RG for resource group. I'll call the static web app Demo Mason Stark Web. I'll use the free plan. We'll connect our GitHub repository that we created. Azure Static Web Apps detects that we're using the React web framework. We can leave all the defaults and review and create. Our deployment is complete. I can go to the resource, and our deployment should be deploying in the background. If I grab this URL and go to it, we'll see that there's a landing page set up for Azure Static Web Apps by default, but if we come back in a little bit, it should deploy our website. It's been some time and I refreshed the page, and now I can see Mason Stark's personal website is up and running as an Azure Static Web App. Our final step for our demo portfolio website is to add a custom domain name for Mason Stark. Let's go over to the Azure Static Web App in the Azure portal. We'll go to Settings, Custom Domains, and we'll add a custom domain name. We'll add it from another DNS provider, masonstark.com. We'll generate a TXT record. This TXT record will be used to validate that I own masonstark.com, which, if your name is Mason Stark in real life, I have your domain name. Reach out to me, let's talk. I'll copy this to my clipboard. I'm using Namecheap for masonstark.com. Now let's add a record, TXT record, host with the value. Save it. Now we'll wait until Azure picks it up. And once they do, we can move on to our next step by adding an alias record for the domain name. We might need to wait a little bit for this to happen, as the TXT record gets propagated throughout domain name servers. The TXT record validated that I owned masonstark.com. Now let's add an alias record for my custom domain name. I'll add an alias record, the host, save. And in a few minutes, I should be able to go to masonstark.com to go to our demo portfolio website. Let's try it now. And it's working. I can see masonstark.com has our demo portfolio website up and running. I can go to the About section, Project 1, Project 2, Project 3, and in coming videos, we'll populate our portfolio website with these projects. Now that you've seen how easy it is to create a personal portfolio website, you can follow along this demo again and just fill in your data and your personal projects. In coming videos, I'll be creating example projects that you can add to your portfolio website. If this video was helpful for you, please like it and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more content like this. And if you have questions on how to build your online portfolio website, leave them in the comments below. I answer every comment to help as many people as I can. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.